So hello everyone again, and a brief introduction of myself once again. My name is Theresa, and I have been working in hospitality management field, and also I have also been working for international relations fields, like for different NGOs and volunteering projects and events. And I have been in Finland for 5 years, so quite the journey of different things happening in life. But of course, anyone's journey has a beginning, and my beginning, the beginning of my journey starts in Vietnam with my childhood. So as you can see here, one of the country's picture. I have a family where my parents and grandparents went through the wartime in Vietnam, and also the famine in Vietnam during the history. And personally, I was born luckily in the 1990s, the generation of 1990s. So that's the time when we have had peace, and we are an independent country at that time. So, and as you may know, Vietnam is now one of the developing countries still. So, and even though I was born in the 1990s when we have had peace, but the poverty and the poor have always been there still every day. And I have lived with it, I have seen it, and I even felt it when I lived among poor people. So that's why today I'd like to talk about the fight against poverty, which is kind of connected to some previous speeches, which was very touching. Thank you so much. And while talking about poverty, people may think of poverty as about people being hungry, without food to eat, being sick, without not able to see a doctor, lack of money, lack of life condition, and also the fear for the future. And poverty has been a global issue for a really long time, and many people have raised up their voice and taken actions for it. But why poverty hasn't been stopped? Why it's still there? Well, in order to give you a clear idea about the situation of poverty nowadays, I would like to show you some data about poverty. So according to the World Bank group data, we have in 2016 there were 800 million people living on less than $1.90 per day. So which means that between or among 10 people, there's one living on less than $1.90 per day, which is, you can see, which is even less than your lunch price, isn't it? And the amount of children die every day is 17,000 children. So if you can imagine, it's terrible. If you can compare to, for example, 17,000 children could be equal to the number of students of a university here in Finland. But, well, just briefly about data. And as you may know, there are many other causes or factors affecting and causing poverty, such as government, education, transportation, culture, geography, the protection of law enforcement, and so on. But I will go further into those factors and causes. But back to the question, why poverty, or why hasn't poverty been stopped? And personally, I would think it in a bit different way. The answer has always been there in our hearts, in our mind. Because nowadays, people are just too busy to care for each other. People are insensitive in front of other people's life. Have you ever noticed someone, like, just when you travel, someone just in the corner of the street begging for money, or just a piece of bread just for their lunch, and you can spend 15 euros for your fancy lunch? Have you ever wondered that for yourself? So, well, I just leave this open here for you to think about it. I would share with you one quote that I have heard and known for my idol in my life, who is Mother Teresa. The quote is, "We think sometimes that poverty is only being hungry, naked, and homeless. The poverty of being unwanted, unloved, and uncared for is the greatest poverty. We must start in our own homes to remedy this kind of poverty." So if my point makes sense to you, so what shall we do about it? Well, I must say, well, for each individual, the key or the first thing that we can do about this is living a healthy and positive life, which means that we live our life with, by sharing, caring, by stop being insensitive in front of other people's life, by giving and by doing little lovely things to people around you. That's very simple and very daily things to do. And moreover, as young people, we have plenty of other ways to do to create impact and to take action for poverty. So as an example or an idea for my own, as I'm a student, I was a student and I'm still a young person, and I'd like to experience the world and I'd like to see more, I'd like to do more. I feel like one of the good way is when I'm traveling. So we can choose to travel to the places that not many people choose to travel to. For example, people may go to big cities with modern high buildings, go to bars, go to big and crowded beaches. Instead of that, why don't you go to suburban places, small towns, villages, and experience life there? You will see a lot of amazing and interesting things there. But of course, you will see people's life there too. So, as an example, I'd like to show you some pictures here, like some pictures from Vietnam. If you go to Vietnam as a tourist and you decide to go to the rural area or small towns or villages, you can spend time and go to the river and take water with the local people, or you can, have some mountain climbing just to get veggies and fruits with the local people. And then you can spend time for family meals and enjoy the local food and have some family meals and get to know about families, which could be more interesting than your experience in the fancy restaurants when you don't have your family with you, or you would be surrounded with many people, strangers. So why don't you find some experience like that to enrich your own knowledge, enrich your own experience? And it could be better if you have a good camera, or you're a photographer, or you're just simply someone who would like to share your stories with people around you. Then take picture and share to the world that this is the life that existing beside our own life. And I believe that traveling in this way can enrich your own knowledge and also convey your messages and stories to people around you, and which can somehow change the world, change people's mind. Yeah, and of course there are many other ways that you can, take action for poverty. Like you can do fundraising, you can make donations for food, clothes, books, furniture, or anything you can give or you can share. You can do volunteer helping children, helping homeless or elderly people. But yeah, so I will leave this open for you so you can have some reflection for yourself, and you can maybe decide to have your own experience in the future, how you'd like to share and live the life sharing with people. I just like to mention again the quotes that I shared to you, and this is something that I'd like to share to everyone around me for a really long time. So we think sometimes that poverty is only being hungry, naked, and homeless. The poverty of being unwanted, unloved, and uncared for is the greatest poverty. And we must start in our own home to remedy this kind of poverty. Thank you. So please, if you have any question.
My son, he always says, like, this man over there, he's not like happiness rich, he's money rich. So he makes a difference between different kinds of wealth or poverty also. So how do you experience like the link between, let's say, the poverty of wealth, the poverty of maybe being homeless, being naked, in relation to the poverty of happiness? Like, do you feel that there's a connection between money and happiness?
I think there's a connection between the poverty, or you can say like the value of the happiness come from money, and the happiness come from something more valuable. But I would say if people can truly find the connection between the money and happiness, or can truly understand the value of money and how to use the money into our life, then people can really find the happiness from money, and can use the money to stop poverty. So that's the connection. It's not that complicated, but think simple and use it. Simple, just help someone that you can afford to. And this makes me remember that another quote from Mother Teresa, that if you can't feed 100,000 people, then feed one. And if you can't do no great thing, then just do small thing with great love. So I hope people can find also the value in everything around them, including of course money, and find a connection to use money and everything else to bring more happiness and life and hope to many people.
Thank you.